Call from
Dallas.
Nellin? Nelly? Nello?
Hello?
Hello? Hello?
Hey, Gecko, what's up?
You know, not a whole lot is up with me.
That's how you've answered every single call, right?
What are you doing?
Been on the stream since it started. I think I've called you around about 100 times trying to get in.
Have we ever spoken before?
We have not.
How is this experience compared to how you thought it would be?
Pretty much what I expected, to be honest.
What did you expect?
Call the number, wait around for a while, get rejected, call a bunch more times, maybe get in. Kind of like a radio show.
What year were you born? Quick.
99.
Where do you go to school?
I'm not telling you where I go to school, bro.
Tell me where you go to school.
I'm in college, anthropology major.
Tell me everything you know about people that you have learned in your studies of anthropology.
Everything about people?
Yes. You're studying people. People are going to pay... What'd you say your name was? Nelson?
Dallas.
What?
Dallas, like the city in Texas.
Dallas, people are going to pay you hundreds of thousands of dollars to recite knowledge about people, correct?
I wish I was getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm hoping for $100,000 a year.
You got to know some things about... You got to be prepared for people to ask you about people.
Pick a topic, though.
People.
All right. I'm in a course right now that's called Archaeology Through Fiction, and we're reading about archaeological methods. Do you want to hear about some archaeological methods?
Actually, I kind of don't. Dallas!
Yeah, that's what I thought.
How hath you sinned?
Gek, I have sinned by liking dogs more than cats. And I'm going to incite a riot in the chat really quick.
In what sense?
So, dog versus cat is it's a tribalistic feud that goes back generations. We're all aware of it. We're all on one side of it, one way or the other. But I don't know if your listeners have caught on lately. There's been this whole narrative that people who like dogs only like dogs because they're obedient and because you can train them. Have you seen this?
You're making this sound sexual.
That's not the intention. The implication is that people who like dogs want someone to control and are inherently manipulative people.
Do you think you're a manipulative person?
No, I don't at all, which is why this narrative is so frustrating to me, because cat people have become all high and mighty thinking that, because, cats only like you if you respect their consent, and that makes them automatically better people, but that's not why most people like dogs, actually. And I have a lot to say on the topic if you'd like to hear it.
You're giving off a very sort of clean... You seem like a very clean person.
Like...
You don't seem like all around. Like, hygienically, you don't curse. You don't... you came in to talk about dogs. You seem very free of sin. You seem very Christian to me. You seem like you have a nice little haircut, and I want to know. I believe you, but I believe that everyone has something about them that makes them a horrible person. And I'm very, very curious what that is about you.
All right. I live in a house with my ex and two of our friends who are also exes, and I fucked one of the friends. How about that?
You fucked one of the friends of the exes. You're gonna have to slow down a little bit.
I live with my ex-boyfriend. We broke up before we moved in here. We live with two friends of ours who were engaged when we moved in. Within a week, they broke up, and I fucked one of them.
So you fucked your roommate?
Yeah.
While living with your ex-boyfriend?
Yeah. Are you satisfied that I've sinned?
Yes, I am, and the hell sounds even exploded a little bit. So Dallas,
Gecko.
So what now? What did your ex-boyfriend think? Does he know about it? Do you still live with him?
Everyone knows about it. He doesn't really care, honestly.
Well, if he doesn't care, then it doesn't matter, right?
Well, it doesn't matter to him, but
Does it matter to
the
you?
one friend that's not the friend that I slept with does care. So that's where the conflict is.
So you have 4 people involved in this situation. You have yourself, you have your ex-boyfriend, you have the guy you had sex with, and the guy who, for some reason, has nothing to do with any of this but cares about it.
Girl I had sex with, but yeah.
So why would the guy care?
Oh,
I guess, okay, so I guess someone in the chat is saying, you know, that it would make sense that the guy who has nothing to do with it cares because he's not getting laid. He's not having sex.
no, I think it's more like they had a kind of a messy breakup, and it was just kind of a weird time. We were both intoxicated. Like, we immediately
Okay, so,
recognized
all
it
right,
as
so
being-
there's 4 people. All right, so you were with your boyfriend, and then you guys broke up. And then you had sex with this other lady who just broke up with this person who cares.
Yes.
Are they a girl?
Person who cares is a dude.
Because that would be cool if we got every part of the...
What's up?
So how did this situation finish? Where's this at
Dude,
now?
I have no clue. I mean, what I really need to do is just talk to this guy and, like, actually... We kind of half-ass talked about it a little bit, but I know there's still some, like, residual animosity there that I need to talk about. But, of course, like, it's not really my problem. It's not my job to bring it up, but I'm going to have to anyway,
Well,
you know?
someone said that you should have sex with the dude that doesn't care, that the guy that cares, and that way you can get him in on it.
Somehow, I think that would probably just make things worse. Just a suspicion.
Okay, but to me it's a reset, because if everyone has had sex with everyone, it resets it to where it was when no one had sex with anyone.
PEMDAS.
What?
It's PEMDAS.
What is PEMDAS?
What is... Dude, look at the chat. Somebody explain PEMDAS.
Don't dude me
I'm
for not
doing
knowing what PEMDAS is. I have no idea what PEMDAS is.
Did you go...
Why would don't you dare insinuate that that PEMDAS is something that people know what it is.
Yeah, did you go to elementary school in the United States?
No, you're gaslighting me even further. You're pretending like everyone who went to elementary... Don't do that. PEMDAS is a thing that you know what it is, and a very small amount of people know what it is, and that is the reality of the situation. You're trying to gaslight me into thinking that it's a normal thing. I'm open to knowing what it's about. Look, I'm open to knowing what the word means, but don't sit here and pretend like it's a normal word.
You know, maybe I am a manipulative person, and that's why I like dogs. Who knows?
Yes. God damn it, I knew it. You came in here and you wanted to talk about fucking dogs, and I learned something about you.
Well, hold on. Nobody's fucking
finally.
Calm down.
All right, what is PEMDAS?
It's an acronym for the order in which you solve an equation. Parentheses, exponent, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction.
Oh. What does that have to do with everyone having sex with each other?
It's usually used as a meme. It's a phrase to, like, explain everything balances out. You know, so when you said it resets it, that means, like, using PEMDAS to balance the equation, you know?
Yes.
I didn't mean to gaslight you, Gek. I'm sorry.
I will someday forgive you.
All right.
What? All right. You were gonna... You know what? No, I want to... How did this live up to your expectations?
Well, I didn't get to say what I wanted to say, but I had fun anyway.
Good.
During furries in the chat, my TikTok is Ataenis Wolf, Ataenis Wolf.
Are you a furry?
Yep.
stop telling you. You know what? You know what is upsetting to me about you is that you have you keep trying to lead with the differences between cats and dogs, which I've heard 1,000 times before, and yet you're hiding so many more interesting topics from us.
All right. Well, what do you want to know about being a furry?
I almost want to give you the floor. I almost want to give you the floor to keep
Like
to
to answer
you know.
questions in the chat.
All right. So, first of all, do you think I'm a furry? Am I a furry?
In my opinion, it depends on whether someone defines themselves as being a furry. So if you don't think you're a furry, then no.
All right, that's fair. Although, don't furries, you can't usually see the face though.
Yeah, usually. I mean, all right, having a fursuit, which is what you're probably thinking of, doesn't necessarily. It's not required for you to be a furry because fursuits are fucking expensive. So if that were a requirement, that would be classist as fuck.
How is that not a requirement?
Well, some people define being a furry as just being interested in anthropomorphic animals. So, like, if you like The Lion King, you're a furry.
That is so interesting. So I could be less of a furry than someone that doesn't even dress up as animals.
Yeah. But like I said, that's not like a definitive metric. It's just if you consider yourself a furry, then you are. So if you're someone who likes anthropomorphic animals and like has characters that are animals and is interested in like the art and the community, then that's a furry. But
How
like
do you feel about the general anti-furry sentiment floating around?
I think a lot of it is misconception about whether it's a fetish or not, which it is not. It's a very like family, kid safe community. And I think a lot of it is just straight up like, haha, look at the weird kid, like bullying theater kids or whatever. It's the same sentiment.
For sure.
Personally, it doesn't bother me, but like, who fucking cares, bro? Like,
that's
you got
what
better
I'm
things
look.
to do.
I'm with you, Dallas. I agree. I don't like when people make fun of furries too. Who gives a fuck? Look. You know what? Respect to you, Dallas, because it takes a lot. It's hard. It's hard to wear to proudly say I like to dress up as a dog and pretend that I'm a dog, and I don't care if you think that that's weird.
Bro. Like, it gets warm in there, you know. Like, there's some conventions that take place over the summer, and people get heat stroke all the time. It's crazy.
People are willing to die for this.
Maybe not die, but yeah, we actually, so the biggest convention in the country, the world actually, is called Midwest Fur Fest. It takes place in Chicago, which is my home region. And a couple years back, I want to say 14, we had there's like some kind of poisonous gas that was put into the vents at this convention, and they had to like close down the whole thing. And now they've got like drug dogs every year and way tighter security and shit. It's crazy.
Someone tried to poison the furry convention with the air vents?
Yep.
That's fucked up.
I don't remember reading about if they ever caught who it was or anything, or like what the motivation was, but
damn, that's fucked up. Do you think
also,
they were like targeting furries?
Well, it's possible. A lot of the community is queer too. So I'm gay-ish, obviously, and it's a big part of the furry like community. So it's debatable whether that could have been considered like an anti-queer hate crime. I don't know. I don't know enough about the details.
What would you say is do you think there is an overlap, like, I guess in terms of do you think there is cultural overlap between the furry community and the LGBT community?
Yes, but it's more in the sense of like, so the LGBTQ community is, if this is a Venn diagram, that circle's enormous, like the size of the sun, and the furry circle's like the size of the earth. And I'd say they're probably Oh, I don't know. For sure, more than half, maybe more like three-quarters of furries that I know exist are queer in some capacity, but of all of the LGBTQ people in the world, it's tiny, tiny fraction that are furries, if that makes sense.
I'm not lumping them in with LGBT people. I'm trying to like what attracts LGBT people to the furry culture.
Oh, good question.
That
All
is
right.
what I'm trying to
So,
ask.
well, here's kind of where I can prove my my competency here. So I'm studying cultural anthropology specifically. So I spend a lot of time thinking about this stuff. I'm actually specializing in transgender studies. So I think a lot of the appeal is the same reason that there's overlap between like the autistic community and the LGBTQ community versus like, theater people and queer kids. I think it's just a sense of otherness that it brings, and it's a way for people to, like queer people who are their identity and they have no choice. That's just who you are, but you're bullied for it anyway. It's a way for them to pick a hobby that is of their own choice. It's in your control, but it's such a like a loving and welcoming place. And like seriously, probably 90% of furries that I've met are super cool people, really chill to be around. There's kind of a concerning drug scene, but we'll talk about that later. And it's just a way for people to like take control of the things they're getting bullied for, I guess. Like if you're a furry, it's hard to make fun of you for being gay.
Interesting. So it provides them more control over their identity.
Yeah.
Is it like a thing of like, well, fuck it, if I'm gonna get bullied for being this thing that I didn't choose to be, like going a step further and being like, I have control over this at least.
Right. So then, like, you might as well sing Hamilton in the high school hallways or be a furry or fucking whatever,
Interesting.
I haven't looked at the chat.
Does it piss people off in the community when people like the fact that people think it's like all just like crazy orgies and stuff?
So hookup culture is definitely part of the furry community. Like
hookup culture is a part of every community.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at. Like it's no more so than, I don't have a good example, but yeah, it is a part of every community. Every convention has a hookup culture. That's just how it is.
Mm-hmm.
People are asking about the drugs in the comments. I'm not super well versed in drugs in general. I mean, obviously I smoke weed, who doesn't? But I can tell you that there's a lot of like party drugs that go on. There are raves at conventions that, the staff kind of doesn't really care enough to moderate. They just kind of, let people do whatever. They do bag searches sometimes, but it's never like in depth. Yeah, party drugs, I guess, would be what I'm referring to.
But that's got to be that's got to be no different from people hooking up at any other rave or at like a fucking anime convention or anything else.
Oh god, yeah, like nowhere near the levels of like an EDM festival or something.
So the EDM DJs and the furries, they have more in common than they thought.
I guess they do. Let them know.
We got to get Steve Aoki to dress up as a. What do you think his persona would be?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know enough about Steve Aoki.
Hell yes.
Well, should we try to give you a persona? Because I don't know. You're not giving me real Gecko vibes. Like I love that that's the gimmick, but you mentioned like therapy dog earlier, and I'm curious.
Oh wait, now I'm interested. I was gonna end the call, but now I'm interested in how. Okay, so is it like a person? Okay, how does one find their persona? Is it like a personality thing, or do you choose? Do you choose to be a dog, or do you how does that work? How do I get assigned a persona?
All right. Well, it depends. So in your case, this would be your government-assigned persona that I'd be giving you. For other people, like for me, the way that I chose my persona was I did I did wolf roleplay as a kid. I don't remember how I got into that, but I did. So it's exactly what it sounds like. You take like shitty anime drawings of wolves and you make that be your character, and you sit there and roleplay with other 12-year-olds. And from there, I got into like the DeviantArt scene, like the furry scene on there. So it's like a bunch of cutesy little anime pastel wolves and shit. And so that's how I got my persona. I'm a wolf because I'm basic. That's a basic animal. Wolves and foxes and like tigers and lions are all really basic. Dogs. And then for some people, it's like a little more personal than that. They might ask their friends or like loved ones what animal they think represents them, or if there's like an animal that's relevant to their culture or their family or something like that, then that's what you go with. Or like a character in media that you really resonate with, then you can like pick that species or something about that character.
So it sounds to me like it's more of a personal preference thing. That's kind of, is it a personal preference thing, or is it like who you are as a person? Like, does your personality? Because if it was a personal preference thing, wouldn't I be more of a gecko because I have already been dressing up as a gecko?
That's true. That's true. It would be up to you ultimately. But because you don't have a defined persona already, I'm giving you the option to be assigned one.
I mean, look, I don't consider myself a furry at all. I don't know anything about furry culture. I just dress up as a gecko because, I don't know, I don't have a good reason for it.
For the walls.
I think it adds to the, I do it as a shtick.
Yeah. I like the shtick. I think it's funny. That's why I followed you.
Well. Well, Dallas, look, keep doing it. Ignore the, people yelling at you. And
I'm not reading the comments, and I won't. I am gonna drop my username though again.
Go for it, dude. We'll I'll see you at the next convention. I wanna go to one of those fucking conventions and like do a video there and like talk to people and shit. As the
Where
Gecko.
are you at? Your caller ID says Rhode Island. Is that where you actually live?
Sure, we can tell people that I live in Rhode Island. That's not where I actually live, but
yeah, you can just Google conventions that are around you. There's a registration fee if you want to actually do stuff, but most of the times you can just like walk in and hang out and see people. They're usually in like hotels and stuff.
If there's one thing I've always wanted to do, it's go to a hotel with a bunch
and see people in dog costumes.
with a bunch of people in dog costumes. So I'll have to check that off the bucket list sometime soon.
Yeah, respect. Do it.
All right, Dallas. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for sharing that stuff with us. I'm sorry we didn't get to talk about dogs, even though we kind of did. And,
no worries.
I'll talk to you later, brother.
All right. Username's in the chat. Attainable. Thanks, Gek.
Later, dude.
Have a good night.